24 hours of travel later, I have returned home to record this YouTube video for you guys of me playing Inteleon VMAX in Europe. Now, that entire sentence is just one big amalgamation of everything that went wrong in life to bring me here. But thank you guys for coming to this YouTube channel. What's up, Pokemon fans? My name is Rahul, Reddy, and today we're going to go over my tournament report of Gdansk Regionals, my 60 that I played for Inteleon Urshifu, a deck that people believed was dead, why I came to the 60, and how I came to the 60 that I did, and how I would maybe change some cards here and there, and we'll go through my 15 rounds, and how I finished top 16, earning me $2,000, 80 championship points. I've already qualified for the World Championship, so that's not really an issue for me, but picking up an almost top 8 placement, bubbling out, technically speaking, but it was a pretty deep bubble, so I wouldn't count it. So yeah. Before I jump into that stuff, if you like this kind of content, please do like and subscribe. I will be cataloging my entire journey to Hawaii. And yeah, you guys can just kind of come along the journey and have a good time with me. So Brazil ended. I came back early Monday morning, like 7:38 a.m. I think I want to say, like to my house, and I was tanked. Monday and Tuesday, my sister's been in town, so we did some family stuff. You know, we don't really celebrate Thanksgiving, but she's been busy in her master's program, so we haven't had a chance to spend time with my sister. And having all 4 of us at home for once was pretty cool in a long time. I think she was home for the summer for a little bit, but I was in Japan, so I honestly have not spent time with my family like in a meaningful way in months. Kind of the Pokemon grind set, you know. So I was finally able to do that and spend some time with my family. Monday and Tuesday were like us getting lunches, dinner, you know, just typical family stuff. So Pokemon was like the back of my mind. Like I just wasn't thinking about it as much. Wednesday comes around. I'm heading to the airport at like 6 p.m. I get there. My flight is a straight shot to Frankfurt first, and then I have a quick layover of 2.5 or 4 hours, I think, and then I'm off to Gdansk in Poland. So on the first flight, the idea was to sleep. Did not do that. Instead, watched a couple of movies, and maybe like an hour of like dozing off here and there. But I think I got woken up by breakfast service. So not super ideal. I'm not gonna lie. But on the flight there, I was just thinking about decks that seemed pretty reasonable, and I was looking. You know, I'll pull it up now. Like my thought process. Like I had Wi-Fi on the plane, so I was just kind of looking at what decks performed over at LAIC, like what was doing really well. Obviously, like I didn't make day 2, and in this wide field, what decks performed at top 16 or better. I think top 16 or better that is a good indicator if any of these decks could have won the tournament. So I'm looking. Only one Chien-Pao, despite a lot of top players playing it. Miraidon having multiple appearances, and Azevedo and Pedro Pertusi playing a very cool Charizard deck as well. Brandon's deck being one of the more innovative Lost Box decks to come out of the format as of now, and Stall. So like I'm looking at all these things, and I was like, okay, I don't want to play Gardevoir. I think Gardevoir is the best deck by far in this format, but best of 350 minutes is not my cup of tea. I don't want to play Gardevoir. Chien-Pao is a deck that I wanted to play, but given that Miraidon just had recent success with an Iron Valiant and Entei taking second, I felt like people were going to copy these decks, and both those decks don't feel like great matchups for Chien-Pao. So I couldn't really bring that. I didn't really want to touch Comfy unless we had like a really broken Comfy deck, and I guess I could have just played Torrid's deck, but I don't want to. I just did not sleep great on this trip, so I just didn't want to try something new. I know Mew did well, and I was like, you know, Mew is just not on the table for me. Zard was one of the few decks that was testing absurdly well for me heading into LAIC. And maybe I should have just sent playing Zard at LAIC. I just kind of chickened out and went with the group with Mew. But I think Zard was probably one of the best plays for that tournament, actually. I think Zard is still one of the best plays in this format. I think Zard is just really, really good. But then I looked at Facundo's Inteleon list, and I was like, oh, this is really cool. And so I pulled up Facundo's list. I was like, okay, this has a lot of aspects of cards I like. Really aggressive, 4 research, Squawkabilly, 2 TMs. And then I stopped and I was like, wait, TMs? And I was like, that's a little bit spicy. So unironically, I just took Facundo's list, changed a couple cards around to things that I wanted. I liked the inclusion of the 1 Arven. It made a lot of sense to me with the tools. I messaged Victor on back and forth about this because he is the Inteleon master. He is someone who has really liked this deck for quite a long time and has performed quite well with it. So I was just discussing ideas back and forth with him. And I was just like, yo, man, Arven seems like broken. And we like disagreed on that, but I was sticking with Arven because I like it. So based on Facundo's list and Victor's help, I came to this final list where the idea is you only really need 5 water. The thing that strikes out to everyone, I think, is the first thing is the 5 water, because a lot of the time the list played 6 water, 1 e-search back in the day. But with vessels, getting 2 waters is a lot more impactful than one. So I guess like there was only like 2 games maybe where I missed the 6th water. But a lot of the time, like with this build, you're just very aggressively turn 1, turn 2 researching into like Clara or Melanie pretty much every turn from there on out. Like it feels really nice to be able to go like Arvin for Vessel or Arvin for Retrieval, plus something else, or like get Sealstone, Vessel. Like it's just Vessel is such an insanely good card in this deck. Is like probably what I want to say. Going into Europe, I knew there was going to be Mew. And I was testing against Robin Schultz, who finished top 4 at this regional. And I told Robin, hey, you go first as DTE Mew. I want to put 2 minutes, see if it actually does something. I just want to play 4 games. You go first every single game. Obviously, if I go first and just get Tomb out, it should generally be just a 1 game, right? Like, in theory, I just go get Nest Ball Tomb, or VIP Pass Tomb, or Ultra Ball Tomb. And it doesn't matter how slow my start is if Mew doesn't get to play the game. And DTE Mew just cannot play the game under Spirit Tomb quite often. So, I went 3-1 in those games, and the 1 game I lost felt really, really close. And so I was like, okay, I'm going to stick with playing Tomb. I think the Tomb is really good. If I can make that matchup close, hopefully people don't play Fusion Mew. Because that version's not that good, right? Like, Fusion Mew is not very good. Yeah, man. I always just speak my bad matchups into existence. Billy was actually pretty insane. Like, there was a lot of times I would look at my opening hand and be like, what can I do turn 2? What do I want to do turn 2? What kind of pressure do I want to put on? And sometimes I'd just be like, man, this hand is so mediocre. Like, I'm stuck Melanie next turn, or I'm stuck locked into a Karina's Focus. Like, and I was just like, ah, man, screw it. This hand sucks. Squawk. Like, pitch my hand. Because a lot of the time, I can always cheat that extra prize cards with Alakazam, Metacham, like, Double Gunner. Like, there's always ways for me to trade weirdly into the prize trade, so the Squawk being on my board didn't actually like be a detriment. 2 TM Devos made a lot of sense to me. I know a lot of people in the late nights this past online circuits have been cutting down to 1, but I expected Zard to be a pretty big threat, as well as Mew and Chanpao, and 2 DMs, 2 TM Devos effectively auto wins you the Zard and Chanpao matchup. I feel like it's like near impossible to lose those matchups if you just, use the TMs, and like it just can't lose. And I'll break it down again as well when I get there. The 1 Arvin seemed pretty silly to me, honestly. And Victor was yelling at me, just telling me to play an Irida or 2 Iridas or something, and I was like, nah, this is funnier. So I kind of did it for the funnies, and I locked it in. The list seemed really good. I played a couple games through Thursday and Friday with Robin, Phillip, Tord, and Nico, and I felt pretty confident. And, like, that's like a power team, by the way, too. But like these guys are just old friends of mine as well, like from traveling the 2016-17 circuit together. So we made friends that way, and they're very, very welcoming. Obviously, like, love those guys a lot. They're awesome people. Get to the regionals, lock it in. We're playing Rapid Strike Inteleon. I know I've told you guys at this channel that I would never do that again. Despite my multiple League Challenge, League Cup, 2 regional failures, 3rd time's got to be the charm at regionals, right? And it was a charm. I roll up round 1. I hit Mikolaj, who's playing Chanpao. Game 1, Mikolaj goes Bidoof Pass, and I just strafe for game. So kind of a really anticlimactic game 1. Game 2, Mikolaj Pokestops, but does not hit like any thing besides a way to get 1 Frigi into play. So his board is now like Chanpao active, Frigi bench. And I just kind of, like, I don't even worry about strafing the active, I think. I just literally was setting up my own board. And I passed it back to him. He did some stuff, did not get a turn 2 back Excalibur. Did 120, I think, to my active. And I proceeded to rapid flow both of his Frigibaxes. He attached, passed, and then I basically just retreated with the stadium 140, and like the game is just over there. Like I can just gut the board at that point. Like the idea is I don't even need to do all that. I can just TM Devo and like just put random things in the active, because they only play Countercatcher Bundle, and if they play Switchers, then I have to play a little bit differently. But I didn't see those cards, so did that way. So I ended up taking the first game. Round 2 is Mark, who's playing Fusion Mew. Game 1, Mark is firing on all cylinders. Can't really stop it from coming, and I lose. It's just tough. Game 2, Mark makes like a really weird play where he goes, or not. That wasn't game 2. Game 2, it's like back and forth, but Mark has a little bit of a slow start, and I get to tomb out turn 1 immediately. And I think it's over in like 4 turns because Mark just cannot find his Alessas, cannot find Fusion. He crams turn 1, I think, to find a VIP and does not do that. So it's already on the back foot. he's able to like burn his entire hand down, gets like 3 Pokemon total in play, attach the fusion, draws like 1, but like I think his hand gets stuck pretty much there. And at this point, I'm just like gutting his board. Like, it's just pretty doomed. Game 3 is actually a pretty tight back and forth because Mark has a pretty insane start, but he opts to go for a really weird line where he Melodious Echoes my Inteleon V in the active with Meloetta. Like, he chose to go second. Oh, no, sorry, he went first. Sorry. He went first, but he chose to burn 2 fusion energies. And I think this is a huge mistake as Fusion Mew, because now at this point you're down 2 fusions, which means you have a max of 2 Genesects to draw cards. The point is to have all 4 fusions showing, and 1 on a Mew at least, which means I can't Alakazam damage around, and devolve your Mew. Try to take out both attackers in the same turn, which is my game plan. And now you lose your ability to Melodious Echo for the one-shot. Like, your choice belted Mew is going to stick around for quite a while. All you need is 1 tablet plus Melodious Echo with all 4 to knock me out. And so I think that was Mark's undoing, ultimately. And I think he ended up prizing a tablet too, which made a difference on a certain turn. Because I think if he had a tablet, he could have leaped me to buy some more time. But yeah, round 3 was against Kai on stream. Game 1, Kai plays like pretty sloppy, I think, discarding useful tools as well as Alessa's. And then I prized to him. So that was cool. Game 2, I get the 2 map, but Kai is still firing on all cylinders, and I can't really stop it. I get really close to the TM Devo play that I wanted to make, but I just was like 1 turn short every single time, and Kai was just hitting every single thing he needed. So, happens. Jan was my next opponent. Jan was playing Iron Valiant Jolteon. It was a deck that I had also actually tested with Cam, Shinoy, and Victor Ong before LAIC, so I kind of knew how it worked. He actually almost stole game 1 from me because he went Thornton into... he Thorntoned a Jolteon into a Vaporeon V and evolved into a Vaporeon VMAX, so that was really cool. However, just did not do enough. And then game 2, I opened Remoraid, which kind of blew because I knew he was going to loop it. And he did. He did exactly that. He looped it, and then he one-shot my Inteleon V with Jolteon. My board was just double Urshifu. And so I just went into the other Urshifu, set up my board, and... knocked it out, and then and I Iono'd in the same turn, and his board was pretty much doomed, actually. Like, I had Sealstone for Iono, and I knew that. Like, I had all the other pieces in my hand ready to go. So, yeah, pretty fortunate draws for me to beat this interesting matchup. Round 5, I hit Paul, who is playing Giratina. Game 1 goes in Paul's favor. Game 2 goes in my favor. Game 3, Paul is firing on all cylinders, and I'm in, like, a really tough spot. And then Paul makes, like, a really weird play where I think he should have just attacked me for 280 with Giratina, but he ends up retreating the Giratina, so the energies are burned anyway, into Sableye and Lost Mines. And off this Lost Mine, I'm able to use that turn to Yoga Loop his Manaphy, and 150 is active with a fresh Urshifu while using Turo. So now I'm at 4 prizes remaining, he's at 2, but he can't close out the game because I don't rebench anything. Or maybe he's at 3. But either way, he like should have just done 280, or spread the damage in a different way. Oh, no, sorry. He knocked out a Remoraid instead of my Octillery, which just gave me all these pieces. I don't think I had access to another Octillery, but yeah. And then I was just able to Rapid Flow the following turn, knocking out both Giratinas that I'd already damaged, closing the game. Closing the game out, which was super sick. Was awesome to take that very close series. So I go to 4-1. Then I go up against Sean, who is playing Miraidon. Game 1 is a little bit weird because Sean is just doing his thing. He made me go first, and then halfway through turn 1 or turn 2, his hand and deck just both drop to the floor combined, and then he picks them up and he's like, "This is my hand, this is my deck," and I was like, "I have no way of knowing that." And then he pulls out another clump of cards from the floor, and I was like, "Okay, at this point, it's like way too messy." There's like now like 20 cards that have been picked up off the floor while you were doing like your Sealstone search. Like, and so we called a judge. It ends up being a game loss. No way to really remedy the situation there, unfortunately. Game 2, Sean ends up taking from me because he has Raihan in his deck, so he's able to Raihan to the Mew on the very important turn to Rapid Flow my board, make it really awkward for me to play the game, and I whiffed a beat as well. And then game 3, I just never whiff a beat, and I'm able to Rapid Flow the Mew before it even hits the active spot, and yeah, or like even if he doesn't play Immunity active, I can rapid flow to Billy and just go 2/2/2. Like you just never take the Flaffy unless like they overwhelmingly dominate on energy on board. So yeah. Round 7 I go against Bjorn, where game 1 it's Fusion Mew again. Yeah, dude, that's 3 Fusion Mews if you're counting. And Bjorn is firing on all cylinders. Not good for me. Game 2 I just go Tomb, and Bjorn pretty much scoops by turn 2. Well, I guess he plays that for a couple minutes, but Bjorn just like basically loses by like turn 2. So I think even if I go first against Fusion Mew, I should be fine. Like with the Tomb, just all 3 of the Fusion Mews, I lost the flip, which sucks. And then game 3, Bjorn overextends, has all 4 fusions of the board. He's looking for his last tablet, and he ionos himself to like 3 to try to find it. And then has all 4 fusion Genesect or fusion strike systems, but he ends up getting stuck on his second one, so he's just drawing 1 card at a time now, and so he can't take the knockout. He ends up Melodious Echoing for 3/10. I end up retreating because that's literally all I can do. Retreat into different guy, Arvin for the TM Devo, get the damage on the board that I need to. TM Devo both his Mews that are damaged, so I take 4 prizes in 1 turn. And Bjorn at this point scoops because he thinks I'm giving up 6, or he's about to scoop it. He's like, wait, you're not taking 6. I'm like, I'm just taking 4 prizes. And so Bjorn draws for turn. His board is just 4 Genesects, nothing. It's like, I killed Mew Genesect. I killed Mew Meloetta with moving damage around. So I've taken 3 prizes now. But I just win in like a few attacks. I just got to attack, and the game is over, right? I think I have 120 on one of the Genesects because of rapid flow at some point. And he's just like, he's thinking. Time gets called on his turn. And he just looks at his hand. He goes, Boss Alakazam pass. And I just look through everything, and I'm just like, well, this top deck has to be Turo. And it has to be Turo into, I go 120 into your active. And then, that was my 4th rapid, I think, as well at this point. So I'd have to go 120 active into find a like natural energy. I didn't have like Melody or anything in my hand or Vessel or anything, so I just had to find like a way to get to natural energy. So I had to top deck 2 turns in a row. I think I had a Karinas if I could like get my hand low enough, but I was just like in my head I'm like, man, this is like a huge ask, and I draw for turn, it's not Turo, and I'm just like, yeah, it's a tie. So that was really unfortunate that I could have won that game, but also I guess like I scammed that match point. Like I shouldn't have even been in that situation, so I will take the 1 match point at least. Then I go with Stefan Norgard, playing Miraidon. Stefan ends up beating me game 1 because I have like a super slow start. I stick it out because I feel like it's winnable. Because I have 2 Urshifu's on board. I just don't have a Remoraid. I just like, he just kills it with a boss. He went boss like 0 or turn 2, and I was like, that's unlucky. And then game 2, I have a terrible start once again. No Remoraid, but he also has a terrible start. Like I'm literally doing like Gale Throw 60s effectively at this point, and he's doing pretty much a whole lot of nothing. And then I'm able to just like go Urshifu, and just win the game. While he's just doing attach. Like that's all he's been doing. Like I guess his hand was just all energies or something. And then game 3 is a little bit all the same. Like my hand is complete dog, and Stefan basically just like 2-turn donks me, I guess. So super unfortunate that I lost this Miraidon matchup, which should be very favorable for me, I think. And now I'm left on a winning end. I go up against Alexander DeGener. He is playing Gardevoir. Game 1, I end up losing because I like look through his deck. I don't see VIP Pass at this point. Like we're very late in the game, and I'm like, okay, I've seen Screamtail, I've seen Luxurious Cape hit the discard, I've seen 3 Arcana, like Gardevoir, like Cresselia. I've seen like all these pieces. I'm like, there's no way this guy plays Zacian. So I make a play, kind of forgetting about Zacian because now it's like late in the day and I haven't eaten, and so I just play like really bad, and he just like pretty much goes Fog Crystal, Slime Zacian game, and I'm like, that's really unfortunate. Game 2 he was Klefki Attach Pass, then so I just kill it, which again I didn't even know he played Klefki. It actually stopped me from bullying turn 1, which is relevant. And then game 3, he has a pretty okay setup, but he whiffs the Manaphy. So I just turn 2, or he was turn 1 attach, just roar to active Zacian because he opens Zacian, and then he gets 2 Ralts down. And I go, my hand is like pretty insane. So I go like Ultra Ball for Billy, attach, or Ultra Ball for Billy, attach Sealstone to active Rapid Strike, Melanie for 3, draw the 3, hit VIP Pass for 2 cards, Billy my hand away, draw the 6, bench a couple more things, research the hand away, draw my 7, attach Rapid Energy, haven't used Sealed Stone yet, by the way, 150. And so now this Zacian is like kind of useless unless he Turos it, but you never want to Turo as Guardy this early. And if he has raw Turo, Mirage Step, Energy in hand, like I'll just go fuck myself, you know? Like it's just doomed at this point. He doesn't have it. He just retreats into Celebration's Mew, gets another Ralts into play, passes to me, and I'm like, oh. And so I go draw, evolve, do my stuff, double gunner, Zacian and Ralts, rapid flow the two guys on the bench. And at this point, it's just pretty much chalked. Like I just get to go into the yoga loop and then win the game in like 2 turns after that. So super fortunate for me to steal that, and I can't really complain. Round 10, so go home, feel good about everything. I passed out almost immediately after we got back. After I showered, like 10 o'clock. Woke up at like 4 a.m. Jet lag fucked me. Happens. Go back in. I'm up against Alexis, who is playing Giratina. Game 1, they basically just go attach Abyss Seeking, going second, and I just 150, and they go bench a bunch of stuff, do a bunch of stuff, and then I go rapid flow 1 Tina, hit the other Tina, and then they just concede, and then game 2 is effectively a little bit more of the same, where they just have a pretty slow start, and I get the first hit into the Tina every single time. Like they have Abyss Seeking, and I just get the first 150 in, or 140 in, and that just is a huge number swing. So, yeah. Just was able to take that one. Tina is a little bit tricky with the go Path Roxanne at the end of the game, so I'm trying to play the game at 4 if I can, and try to take all 4 in one turn, or take 3 in one turn, going to 1 and putting myself in a position to win if possible. So that's how you have to kind of play it. Round 11 is Magnus Peterson playing Charizard, which is one of my best matchups. Magnus and I are actually just actively talking about it, and how I was like Magnus, I'm just not going to take prizes till I Devo you 2 times, and he's like, Game 1, he like barely sets up, and I just spread Devo. Game ends. Game 2, he goes Charmander active, double Pidgey, pass, and I go, okay, draw. Set up my board, strafe, go. I was looking for the Surf. I was actually digging really hard for the Surf. Oh no, sorry. I was looking for Stadium Surf, if I could get there, and I did not get there. And then I go stack out the one Charmander and win the game basically on the spot, I think. And then he goes draw, Iono, pass. And I was like, okay, 150, active. He goes draw, bench Charmander, pass. I go draw, 150, 150. And I'm like not hitting supporters either, so it's like I'm not like spreading any damage either. If not, this Pidgey is just chalked, right? This like lone Pidgey goes promote Pidgey, draw. I don't know, again, I think, and he like, does double Charmander, pass. And I was like, draw, Melanie, rapid energy, game, effectively. So kind of a sad start for Magnus, but if it's one matchup you want to like break in, it's probably that one. Then I go against Yori in round 12, where game 1, Yori gets a board of, like, the game is progressed now to a point where the board is, Yori's at 3, I'm at 3. Yori's board is, I'm at 6, Yori's at 4, I think. And Yori's board is Guardy X, Guardy EX, Baby Guard, Jirachi, Mew, or Jirachi, Manaphy, Greninja. And I basically just, like, in one turn, I'm able to, because there's 140 on the active Guardy, I think I've spread 20-20 to 2 Curlias, and, like, 20-20 to 2, like, Manaphy and Jirachi, maybe. And so I go 40-40 to the little guys, move the 20, or, like, I moved to 20 there earlier, one of the earlier turns. I basically get all of them to 80, and just Arven TM Devo, and he has nothing left, and he just scoops. And then game 2 is a little bit more of the same, but I prize double Urshifu VMAX, so I missed the rapid flow turn to basically take 4 prizes in one turn, and just gut his board, leaving him with like 1 Ralts. And I was like, ugh. And so he was like, oh, you let me back in the game. And I was like, I didn't really like let you back in the game. I just prized both VMAX, so I couldn't make the play I wanted to make. So it's fine. I take the game against Yori. I'm now 3-0 on the day. I go up against Lukash, who is the eventual regional champion, actually. He ends up playing Snorlax Stall. Game 1 actually is like really interesting because my start is really good. I'm attacking with Octillery every turn. I can't go into the Urshifu plane like I want to, but I'm in a position where I can go Turo. Like I had the board perfectly set up in a way, and we talked about after the game too, that if I had an Inteleon VMAX in play, I could have gone double gunner, Turo. All right, I was gonna keep. I did one more double gunner basically. No double gunners yet. Like I got these double gunners later in the game, but like basically I could have just gone rapid flow both the Urshis and won the game because I was still doing damage. And I prized 3 Inteleon V, so until I take the first prize, the game was really at a stalwart. But if I had Inteleon on the deck, I could have just aggressively spread, basically killed the Mimikyu, and then gone for Rapid Flow with my Turo, because I had Sealstone like live for pretty much the entire game. Which really sucked, because like I feel like that game 1 was like super winnable, and I was just going 50-50-50 with Octo every single turn. And it felt super winnable. He like Roger the Giacomo, because I had Tomb in play, so he wasn't able to use his Rotom. And then game 2 I opened Metacham, and on turn 2 he Erica's Invitation and hit my Alakazam, so it was just chalk it up. But the first game took like 35 minutes, and I'm pretty confident that I would have won if I had 20 more damage. Or just Inteleon not being prized. Like all 3 Inteleon Vs not being prized, I win that game, I think. Then I go against Alberto, who's playing Comfy. He's playing like Brennan's deck, like Comfy, Zard, Roaring Moon. Game 1 he opens Moon. I go first, I set up. Like I saw Comfy on stats, so I'm like, okay, it's probably the Comfy this deck. I set up, he goes, gets his board going, gets like VIP, and then he goes attached to active pass, and I'm like, oh. And so I just go 150 into the Moon, making it effectively useless. And get like 1 spread off, I think. He switch cards it the next year with the top deck, finds the Colruyt, starts playing the game, but I basically like have a god start the next turn where I just go evolve, basically I just go like 40-40 to 2 things, get the movement, get the loop, rapid flow the like. I think he had 1 more Comfy. He had like 3 Comfies and a guy in play, so I killed 2 Comfies in the Moon all in 1 turn, and he just conceded. In game 2, it was a little bit. He does something interesting where he like goes and he VIP passes for the Charizard early, because he's like, I think attacking with Radiant Zard early in this matchup is good, and I was like, interesting. So he goes Radzard, Cram, Manaphy, Jirachi, Comfy is his board. So I just don't take a prize. I know that the only way for him to attack is Cramorant, so I just am spreading and putting things in the active for him to do 1-10-2. And I end up taking all 6 prizes in 1 turn by doing a little bit of shenanigans, killing the Jirachi with Alakazam, Yoga looping the Manaphy, then moving 20 more to another Comfy, and then no, I was like ping it was like ping Jirachi and a guy, a Comfy, take 2 prizes there, move damage onto the Manaphy, loop a Comfy, and then rapid flip for game the next turn. Or the same turn, I guess, like turn 1.5. So I took 6 prizes in 1 turn, which is like really cool. I'm very tired, but it was really cool of me to do, and I was very proud of myself for like just not committing to the bit and throwing there. Then I go against Francisco Torzano, who is the Barcelona SPE regional or SPE champion with Inteleon Urshifu as well, and I've looked at his list before. Very big fan. I win the flip. I go first. We're basically going toe to toe. Like neither of us miss a beat. I get the flow on his Octillery. He gets the flow back on me. I end up winning the game. Game 2, I brick. He gets me. Game 3, I end up making a really interesting play where I know he's got Cheryl because he showed it in game 1, and he has Turo. So I end up just taking the 3 prizes on the LAKEY VMAX and the Alakazam, putting him in a really weird spot where now he can't Clara or he'll lose the game, because now I'm at 1 prize and he's at 4, I believe. And so he has to deal with, like, I know that he can set up for a Devo play over 2 turns, but he can't do it this turn. So in my mind, I'm just thinking I have game because I have Ping Ping Alakazam to kill the Remoraid with Devo in hand. Unless he Ionos me, which he does Iono me. Oh no, he doesn't even Iono me. I was like, if he Ionos me, he doesn't get to play the game either, because he's at 4 and he needs like a lot of pieces to work. He Ultra Balls. He doesn't get the Octillery. I realize it's prized anyway, and he basically just packs it up. Or he like attacks me for 140, and then I just show him Melanie plus Rapid Energy to just rapid flow the bench guy. Because in my mind, I'm thinking like, okay, I gotta Melanie. I gotta find a couple pieces. Like I gotta do this. I don't know. I was like overthinking it, but I ended up winning that. And then we go to final standings, where going into round 14, I had like a 65% resistance. And then I was at like 55 or something, 56 after round 14. And so I knew I was kind of doomed. So I needed Yuho to win to knock one of these players out. And then I needed, if that happens, I think it's like the difference between me and Maciej is 1 opponent. So like whoever, like one of my opponents just needed to win over the last 2 rounds. And I would have been in top 8. So a lot of what ifs. No one's beating Ewan. His those percentages crazy. It's 72. But I did what I had to do. I played my heart out. I went 10-3-1. Can't complain. Had a great time. Playing in Europe is always a lot of fun for me. It's a different region. A lot of different stuff going on. Love you guys a ton for the support, as always. I'll probably be at least one more European regional this season. I have to just look into some stuff. Travel dates, whatever, finances. But thank you for the support, as always. I scammed Europe out of $2,000. Not $2 million, Jesus. And Rapid Spec Urshifu will be forever cemented on my Limitless page, and you guys can't make fun of me anymore for it. So, ha. See you guys.